Hey guys, how's it going? My name is always and welcome back to Sky Factory 3. In the last episode, we were working on integrated dynamics. We were getting a bunch of things together for integrated dynamics, variable cards, batteries, variable stores, all sorts of things, so that we can use it to automate the Atomic Reconstructor with the Lens of Disenchanting. Had to think about that one for a second. Yeah, so we want to automate making enchanted books, and this seems to be the easiest way I can figure out. So that's what we're going to go with. Now, I had said last episode that I was going to do a lot of this kind of stuff off camera because it's complicated. Integrated Dynamics is a very complex and robust mod. It's really powerful, but it's a little confusing to use. And kind of along those lines, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing. But I didn't actually work on it too much between episodes. What I've been doing, though, is planning because I've kind of changed my mind about some stuff. So one of the big things is we need to get this system in place. And originally I had thought, well, we'll just use integrated dynamics almost completely. And, well, that's not going to be the case. We're going to mostly use integrated dynamics, but not entirely. So there is a couple things that I want to work towards. First of all, I want to make some chests, and we're going to make some diamond chests because we're going to need them. And we'll make 2 of both of these. And then we'll make 2 diamond chests. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna kind of, how do I want to explain this? We're not going to fully use integrated dynamics. We're gonna use a couple of different mods with it because it's gonna make things a lot simpler. So we'll get into exactly what we're gonna do very soon. But this is going to be the diamond chest for storing the enchanted books. Rather than putting them into our system, we are going to directly place them in that chest. Now, there is a handful of things. We should probably just grab some normal chests as well, because that'd be good to have. Now, there is some things. This is not going to be a completely automated system now. We're going to make it mostly automated. It is going to be partially manual. The manual part is going to be us placing in the enchanted items. That's pretty much it. But we're gonna do it over here because we have access to the cables, and honestly, I think this is probably one of the closest places. We could put it up here. No, we'll put it over there. I don't know that we're gonna put anything else on that platform, and then we can just put a single item conduit going all the way across, and that should be fine. So that's kind of the idea. Now let's get into what exactly we need to do with all this. We're going to put it in, I think we're going to put it kind of in the middle-ish here. So first things first, we're going to need to set up the Atomic Reconstructor. Now the Atomic Reconstructor does need power, not a big deal. And we're going to place it right here. And it is in pulse mode, which is great. That's what I want to see. And we need to put the lens on it. So with the lens of disenchanting, it will unenchant an item if both the book and the enchanted item are in the same space. So yeah, what we're going to do is, let's just use cobblestone, I guess. Right here, we're going to just build up an area. And let's go one more. And we're going to place precision dropper there. And that is going to drop both of the items. That's the idea. Now, how do we want to do this? So let's kind of go over what this system is going to be doing. And we're going to want to get some glass as well. Because we want to make sure that items don't... Do we have any like special glass? We have some thickened glass. We could get some clear glass. Let's go ahead and grab some glass, and then we'll get our chisel, which I believe is in here. Yes. I still need to automate the cows. Oh right, I was gonna do that. We have a cow in a jar. Did I? I never made another cow in the jar. I was planning on doing that, wasn't I? I think I was. So we'll make another one. I kind of forgot about the cows. Let's go ahead and breed them. Let's see. We should have some wheat. We should have some wheat. Let's go ahead and breed the cows, and we'll duplicate some. Well, not duplicate. We'll get some more cow in the bottles here after a little bit. So, all right, we need to go kind of through what our method is going to be. How we are going to turn. Let's see. Let's get bubble. How we are going to turn these enchanted items and books into enchanted books. So first of all, one of the big things we need to worry about is we're going to put glass like so. And we'll have glass on top as well. Just to kind of make sure, we'll get the rest of the glass after a bit. Just to kind of make sure, actually we have silk touch. The whole point of this is to make sure that the items are where we need them to be. And so, yeah, this is just to kind of guarantee that the items are where they need to be at. In fact, I think we're going to remove this one. And so, what do we need to do? Well, we need to detect when there are two items here, specifically a book and a enchantable item. Or an item that is enchanted, I should say. And if we can have that, then what we can do is send a redstone signal to here, and it shoots a laser, and it does it again. Now, something else we might want to do, and I don't know if we're going to actually do this or not, but we could have a detector that says, yeah, we're gonna want that as well. We're gonna want a detector that says if there is no items in a chest, no enchanted items in a chest, then the system turns off, and it doesn't try to insert any books. So that might be a plan as well. And we can actually do that with integrated dynamics. Now, the other thing we're going to need to do is if an item has multiple enchants, then we could put another book and get the other enchant. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to pick up all items. Except for... Ooh, how do we want to do that? We could... There is some complicated things here. We could cycle the enchanted item back through, but I think more than anything, we're going to want to just drop another book if there's an item still there that is enchanted. So that might be an idea. Yeah, this is going to be complicated. And I've seen people saying that it's not really worth it. We are going to want to have glass here. We do want to secure this fairly well. I'm not putting any glass in these two spots because we might need them. In fact, I know we're going to need them, though we can make facades. I believe facades work with these just fine. But we'll have to kind of play that by ear. So the first thing we're going to need, we can get into some of the things we're going to need, and if I have to cut away and figure things out, then that's not a problem. But the first thing we're going to need is a world reader. Where is it? There. So it requires an input variable transformer, some dirt, and obsidian. Pretty easy. So we'll get a world reader, and this allows us to read information about the world. And this is going to go right where the items are going to be dropped. Let's go ahead and break that for right now. And I think we can do something like that. Perfect. So a world reader, we really can't see much with it, but it's just going to say, hey, look, I can see what items are there. Now the other thing we're going to want is a redstone writer. So in integrated dynamics, readers read. They look at different information. And basically they tell the network, the integrated dynamics network, hey, I see this. This is here. Or, it's just kind of information. It can look at growth levels. It can look at items dropped on the ground. It can look at what block it's looking at. It can look at what's in an inventory, all sorts of things. There's a bunch of different readers. Audio, block, entity, extra dimensional. Actually, do we want an entity reader? Or do we want to... I think we want a world reader. That is something we can actually look up real quick. Let's see. Readers. What does a world reader do? Weather, rain. Oh, no. Okay, so we don't want a world reader. We want an entity reader. So an entity reader will tell us about entities. And that requires raw pork chop. Yeah, that sounds more familiar. I think that's the one we need. So entity reader, we'll get one of those. And then this we can place right here. And I think we can place a cable down. And then, we'll cover the place with glass once we're done. So then we can put an entity reader right here. And this will read the entities. So for example, if I just drop something in front of it, it should say, hey, I see an entity. It's a logic cable. If I stand in front of it, it will see me. So that is kind of what readers do. They look at information in the world and they tell the system what it sees. Now to do anything with that, we're also gonna need, I think, an inventory reader. And we're also going to want a redstone writer. So writers do the opposite. Rather than just looking at information, they change things. So there is what? Audio writers, effect writers, inventory writers, redstone writers. So inventory writers writes to inventories, outputs audio and music, outputs particles, writes to redstone. Specifically, redstone writers are what we need in order to, this is going to be a shocker, send redstone to this. If we... Here's a weird noise. If we send, if we have things in here, and this all is going to be hooked up to an energy battery, which I think is going to be right here because that makes the most sense, so that we can put a flux point between them and make sure that they both have power. And then we're also going to want a variable store, and variable stores store variables. We literally just put everything. That was a weird glitch. I don't know why that's happening. Whatever. Variable stores is where we store variables. So something that we're going to need, for example, is a book. We can also use our portable logic programmer, and something we're going to need is an AND operation. But we need the other thing first, and that is an operator that says, where is it? Enchanted. And that's I don't know. Okay, we click it again. No. If the item is enchanted. So, we're gonna need a, I think we can just use a general item. And if we come down here, we can put enchanted item. And this is where things get really weird. So we have an enchanted item. So this is a variable card. So there's two different types of variable cards. There are variable cards that are just quite literally variables. I have one here that I made earlier that was a book. Whereas, this is any item. And the idea is we can have this in here, and I'm trying to remember how to do this. If item is enchanted, there's a lot of like if-then type statements. The output we want, this will output a true or false if an item is enchanted. And we can put this, I think, here. No, that is a list of entities. And that's actually what we want instead. Enchanted. No. Operator enchanted received an input with type item was expected. No, okay. So there's a bunch of things, and this is where I'm going to struggle a little bit, because I don't remember how to do this exactly. But what we can look at is there is a bunch of different things here, and we can say things like, basically we can send a true statement to different things. We can have a Boolean for true. I don't know what that will do actually, but we can basically have it so that if this sees an enchanted item, it sends a redstone signal. That's literally it. Redstone outputs the variable as, okay, property strong power. So we'll want a redstone thing. Oh, this is where we put it. So enchanted item, it's currently false, but if we put an enchanted item in front of it, is it still false? Variable with ID 2 could not be found in, okay. I've got to remember how to do this. So I'll tell you guys what, I'm going to do a little bit of work and kind of figure this out, and we'll come back once I have at least this part done. I've done something similar to this before, so it's not going to be impossible for me, but I need to remember exactly how this works. I don't remember how to tell things to do things. I know we need a variable in there, and what we're going to want is specifically we want to look if there is a book and an enchanted item right here, it sends a redstone signal. And then we could also have it so that if there is a that's what we could do. We could have it if there's a book and an enchanted item, it sends a redstone signal. We'll have a vacuum hopper here with a filter to pick up enchanted books and unenchanted items, kind of like we have up here with these advanced item filters. Actually, we can't do both. We could do two different vacuum chests, and that would work. That wouldn't be a problem. We could actually put one in the floor just to pick up enchanted books. In fact, we could just put it right here. Would not matter. But then what we can do, at least I don't think it would matter, we could have a check that says if there is an enchanted item but no book, then drop a book. And we'll set up the like hoppers and all that kind of stuff up here, and we can work on that. So I'm going to do a little bit of that work and figure out if I can't get it to work, and then we'll come back once I have that. Alright, so I have something that technically works. So I've been making a couple of things. First of all, I made some display panels. Now these are really nice because we can throw variable cards in there and it will tell us kind of what the result is. So for example, this one is detecting some stuff that I have in there. Currently it's false, but if I put, not that many, if I put a book and some leggings in there, it says true. Now, don't get super excited because this isn't the best system. I'm having some major issues detecting what kind of item is there. I don't know how to do that because these are entities. That's something I kind of forgot. These aren't technically items. So what I did instead is this. Actually pretty clean looking. There's only 4 variables. Plus this, which is the operation that is needed. If we put this in here, which there's actually already one in there. No, that is a different one. We can now get a laser beam, and if I throw two books in here, it'll shoot a laser beam. However, this is a pretty big however. There is some issues with this whole system. We'll get to that in a second. But basically, what the variables are doing is I have a variable here. This is literally just an integer. This variable card just says 2. It will always say 2. It just says 2. You can program a lot of things, and that's where things get really complicated. So this is an integer that just says 2. And I have this variable, which is looking at the list. So there is more to this than I thought originally. There is a couple more things. We can pick up entities and all sorts of things here. But the big thing is this entities has a list. It's red. Everything is color-coded, I should mention. So if we look in here, lists are red, strings are red, integers are orange. These are numbers, I believe, double and long. Fluids and blocks are gray, booleans are blue, operators are green. So everything is color-coded. And what this is a list. So if we put 3 items, it will look at things. But basically there is a list here, and there's a lot of things there. There's actually 3 items. And what that list can do, we can take that list and we can actually see the variable, the length of it. So this takes the list here and outputs a variable in the form of an integer. And then all we have, this is something we don't need. So let's get rid of that. So it's actually, yeah, it is 4 variable cards, but so this variable and this variable we compare. If they are equal, which is all this is, then it emits a redstone signal. So quite literally all we're doing is if there are 2 items there, we send a laser beam. The problem is it doesn't matter what 2 items are there. 2 books, doesn't matter. We can have the 2 things we want. In fact, me and an item count because I am technically an entity. So yeah, that's the bad side of it, but we can kind of work with this. I was not able to get it to detect if there was an enchanted item or anything like that. So what we can do now, we're going to need a couple more things. Let's go get a vacuum chest. And this is where it's going to get very... Okay, I'm going to be honest. This entire system is going to be super janky. It's not going to work great. It's not going to work perfectly, but it hopefully will be good enough. We're doing all of this just so we can automate the rainbow generator. So take that as you will. But we're going to need a vacuum chest. And for the record, the display panels required some mineral berries, output variable transformer, which we've made, or at least collected. That's what they look like. And then static light panels. Static light panels are just that recipe. Pretty easy. I also made a materializer. I don't think we're going to need one, but I made one. Pretty straightforward to make. So, yeah. Let's get the vacuum chest. That should be the first thing we need to make. If I can spell vacuum chest. And we want the Ender IO vacuum chest. Now these are relatively easy to make. We need a pulsating crystal. Do we have those automated? I do. Good. And there's the vacuum chest. Now we're also going to want a filter, an advanced filter. So an advanced item filter. We're going to need some paper. Let's go ahead and make 2 stacks of that. I did make a bunch of things. And then we're going to need a Z-Logic controller, which unfortunately we don't have one. I never remember the recipe. Zombie, silicon, 2 soul. Okay. So zombie head, 2 solarium, 2 silicon, and a redstone. So nothing too difficult there. We've made plenty of these before. We just need to slice and splice it. And what this is going to do is going to pick up our items for us. That's all. And let's go ahead. And is there anything else we're going to... Oh, right. We need to actually make the thing. Advanced item filter. Okay. So if we come down here, we can put a vacuum chest here and an item filter. And this range we want... Can we not put an advanced item filter in here? It's an upgrade for item conduits. Ah, great. Alright, so we could just use a normal filter, I guess. I don't know how useful this is going to be. That's worrisome, because that might mean more redstone things. So the range is like so. If we put an item filter in here, what is it specifically? It's MBT data, isn't it? That's an extract. Let's see. Metadata is something. I'm not entirely sure. But if we whitelist, we could whitelist enchanted books, maybe. Let's test this. So we can get a book that is enchanted, doesn't matter what. And if we put that in the filter and we throw it down, it gets sucked up. But if we throw a normal book down, it doesn't get sucked up. Okay, what if we have a different... this is where I think it's not going to work. What if we'd had a different enchanted book? Will it also pick up a... No. So we'll only pick up fire protection books. Now, we might be able to get around that. Bows can only have so many things, and it looks like we're mostly going to have Unbreaking and Power 1. And I guess if we ever had anything else... Yeah, all of those are Unbreaking or Power 1. But there is a couple other things. There's Power 2. There was also an XP boost. We might be able to get away with that, but all in all, I think that's pretty awful. So filters are not going to work. So how are we going to do this? Oh man, because we want this to be, so what we can do is we can have it active with signal. And, you know, when this is true, we could see... I'm trying to think of, like, if we have... Okay, there's other things we can do. So let's worry about that later. Gosh, this is just not going to work very well, is it? This system is kind of awful. Because we're going to need a redstone writer to that one as well. So let's go get that. And we're probably going to need, like, 2 or 3 more redstone writers. So let's get like 2, 3 more of these. Because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put things into this. And the way we're going to do that is complicated. Oops. So one thing we can do, and this is probably the easiest part of all this. Let's go grab, if you didn't notice, I put like everything in that chest because I had too many variables. We're going to want some item conduits. And take the item conduits. So I might be improving this between episodes and just kind of getting you guys to see how the general process should be good enough. But we're going to want to put, let's see, probably a double chest and a single chest. So this will be for books. And this will be an insert extract active with signal. Extract active with signal. And insert. So the idea is we're going to have redstone writers on these. Now this one will be a little bit easier, and we're gonna go ahead and do this one because it's actually pretty straightforward. One thing we're gonna need though is item conduit speed downgrades. So conduit speed downgrades, we're gonna want 2 of these, and so let's get another one. Luckily pretty easy to make, and the whole point of this is we only want to extract 1 item at a time. And so we could probably also put a inventory reader and a writer on this. We could change the activation mode to a pulse, but we'd need 2 pulses. So if we just leave that off, basically, what we can do is we can set up some new variables. So the variable that we're going to want is we want one that is null. So that's for the list. We could do a list empty. This should work all right. Let's see. Empty. If we have this list is empty, and we will want to duplicate this because we'll want 2 of these. So if we put this in here, we got to put the list back in there. It currently says true, but if we put a single item in there, it now says false. Okay, so what we can do is for the redstone writers, one, we have to hook it up. We're going to hook up that one, and we're going to need 1 more. I don't know why these cables are so weird, but now we can put that, and currently it is true, so it is sending a redstone signal. Now if we put that in there, it'll say it's not true. So that's not going to work. We're going to need something else, because we need to put the items in this, and so we'll have to be a little bit more clever with that. But the general idea is if we put a bunch of things in here, actually if we fill this up first, we could have a redstone writer that basically, or redstone reader. No, I don't know. We could have a redstone reader that basically is an on-off switch for this entire system. That is something we could do, but I don't know how well that'll work. And then the other thing we need to figure out is exactly how to get this to pick up 2 items and then turn off. So this will need to, we could actually put a copy of this one in here, but it would then just pick up those items probably before this actually shot them off. So that is unfortunate. And then the last thing we can do is this will go into our diamond chest, and we can pretty much insert advanced item filter, enchanted books, and that should be good enough. Everything else we could honestly just trash, or we could send somewhere else. Unenchanted things we could just trash, and then other items, so bows, basically all of these filters, copy all these filters, we could just have something like that for that, and let's insert on green. Those are only going to insert certain things. Yeah, so we could just have some filters that say, you know, enchanted items do not go into a trash can, or something like that. We could set it up so that we trash things that we don't need. So for example, these pants have one more thing on them, and we can at least test this part. If we put that and a book, there we go. We get golden leggings and enchanted book. Now the golden leggings we don't want. We can destroy those. The book will go always active on that one. The book will go in here. The enchanted leggings will go, or the unenchanted leggings will go somewhere, and the if the leggings are still enchanted, we'll just put them back over here. So I might actually switch these chests around, which is not too big of a problem. And we'll just have a conduit that goes basically back straight up here if the item still has enchants. So that's kind of the general idea. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to try to figure out something that's a little bit more eloquent. Something that might actually work as well would be nice. And something that's going to kind of work consistently. So fire protection, power 3 we're going to take back. But the whole idea of having this system completely separated from our refined storage system is none of these items that we have over here are enchanted with anything good. Not really. There might be a couple soulbounds, but for the most part, these are all just kind of trash enchantments. And so what we can do is we won't use good enchantments for the rainbow generator. We'll use only bad ones. And I'll run a line over there and fill up this chest with all that stuff. And then eventually what we'll do is we'll get things where they need to go. So last thing before we call the episode, I'm going to work on that off camera. Hopefully this time I'm actually going to. Now that you guys have kind of seen how this whole thing works, one thing we can also do is, you know, we have, this has an entity. If the entity is null or is not null, actually we'd want is null. That is not what I wanted. I wanted this one. If the entity is null, that can be something we can do. So this will output a true or false. We put this in here. And so there is no item there. But if we put an item there, it says false. So that might be a way we can kind of read things, but I think we'll have the same problem of it'll basically try to extract items, and I don't know that we can fill up the chest before we can get to that. So I need to kind of figure it out and hopefully come up with something that will work. Let's just put all of this stuff in here. the other thing we can do is, we can read the inventories, make sure there's items in there, and if there is, then we can extract them. If there's nothing there, there's a lot of things we can do, and a lot of true-false statements that we can kind of compound upon. But the last thing I want to do is, other than trash these golden pants, the last thing I want to do is actually pretty cool. So we need to make a milk bottle. I don't think we have any in here. No, we do have a lot of milk buckets, but we need milk bottles. A milk jar. We're going to make one of these. And we're going to need an anvil. And we're going to need a soul vial. That'll work. Doesn't really matter. There's options here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these cows and put it in a jar. So this is something I've never actually tried to do. I think it's going to be best to do right here. Let's grab a cow. And I think what we can do is if we get some glass panes. Oh man, this is going to be great. And we just put glass panes like so. Unfortunately, we need more. More glass panes. This should be interesting. So the way that we're supposed to get a cow in a jar is we take a milk jar, a cow, an airspace, and then a major lag spike. There we go. Okay. The airspace and then an anvil. So if we put the cow right down here, there's the airspace. So if we put an anvil right there, it just popped the cow into the jar. Simple as that. And then we can break that and collect it. And we now have another cow in a jar. So I'm going to make a few of those because we want a bunch of cow in a jar so that we can collect plenty of milk for the slime generator. I don't know why I'm having so much lag right now. That's really weird. But the slime generator requires buckets of milk as a secondary ingredient. So we'll get a bunch of those and we'll import all that. And that will be that. So yeah, that's going to be it for this episode, especially since, yeah, my computer is just not happy right now. I have no idea why. This is really strange. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the world, but there might be. I might have to fix something. Who knows? Anyways, that is going to be it for this episode. Before I crash, I'm just going to... The screen is frozen for me, so don't worry about that. But before it crashes, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode off here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!